Okay, welcome to 11-1, preparing a deposit slip and writing a check. Explained. The very first thing we're going to do is we're going to take care of the deposit. The second part is we're going to write a check. So, as with everything, there are steps involved. Number one, when you're doing writing a deposit slip, you are going to put the date in first. So the very first thing we're going to do is figure out what the date is. And let's just say the date of the transaction. On August 14th, owner gifts deposited. So there's our deposit date, August 14th. So we'll come right down here and we're going to put August 14th. And you pick a year. Let's just hope it's this year right here. All right. Second thing we're going to do, there's your date. Second thing we're going to do is find out how much cash are we talking about. There are times when a bank will ask you for the paper, in other words, the dollars and $5, $10, $100, whatever the paper currency is, and it'll also have you parse out what kind of coinage is involved, any change that you may have had. In this case, to keep things simple, counting one, we're just going to call it cash, straight up cash. And in this case, look here, it's all right in there. We have a cash part of the deposit of $784.24. Oh, let's see if I can get this a little thinner. So we go $784.29. Fair enough. All right, you can almost tell from looking at the actual deposit slip how it's questioned. It looks like we're going to have 4 checks. So let's do ourselves a favor. Now that we do that, let's take a look at the checks. Let's draw some lines here because it's a little confusing. They could have done a better job, in my opinion, listing the checks for us. But it says Charles Ling, drawn on the Bank of Commerce, American Bank of Commerce, ABA number, and here's the dollar amount. So there's your first check right there. Okay. This amount is not, this bank name is not going to concern us. The ABA number is going to take care of that. So we're going to come over and list this one first. So we have ABA number 32-7091. Did I say 72? How about 32? 327091 in the amount of $39.44. The second check is going to be, again, we can draw a line here. It's be nice if they had listed them in like some kind of column form, but they didn't. Second check is from Keith Lopez, drawn on the People's Bank, ABA number 84268. 84268 in the amount of $22.95. Now keep in mind, I am breaking out the dollars and the cents here. We're not going to be jamming everything into the same columns. It's very important to stay organized on this. The third check is Margie Luke, ABA number 846249 in the amount of $52.95. I'm liking it so far. And the fourth check that we're going to be doing is Marvel Parker, ABA number 842242. All right. And how much was it for? $67.45. $67.45. Well, at this point, all we're going to do is add up all the checks and add it to the cash. So we listed the checks. We're going to now take the checks and we're going to add them up. along with the cash, and we're going to come up with a total deposit of $967.08. That concludes our filling out the deposit slip. So again, date first, cash, list your checks, and then the total. And that'll keep you out of trouble, okay? So let's, we're going to obviously have to be doing something with this deposit number. So but let's write it down. We'll come over here and when we put deposited $967.08, and the date of that was 14 August. Alright, now we'll take care of writing the checks next. Stand by. Okay, let's continue with the problem. The first thing we did complete the deposit slip, so we have that squared away. And let's make that red if we can get a line on there. Why is that not writing for me? There you go. Now we need to record the deposit. So once we have this number here, how much we deposited, we need to do something with that. We want that to be reflected inside of the checkbook. Again, when we're doing a checkbook, the first thing you fill out is the check stub. This is the check stub. Now, I will admit to you right up front that this is not the best graphic in the world to be looking at. So when you are filling it in online, you just have to keep your bearings and you'll be fine. But we do the check stub part first. So this is the stub. It's the smaller part. It has all the same information that the check does. So the very first thing we're going to do is, now we haven't written a check yet, but we did make a deposit. So we need to do something with that. So we're going to go to the check and we're going to put underneath here, well, you see how there's a broad forward amount of $1,641.96. That's the amount of money that you have in the account right now. Things are going to happen. And in this case, on the 14th of August, something did happen. So we're going to take this and say 7. That's going to be 814. This was a deposit. Very straightforward. Add deposits. How much? $967.08. Now, at this point, we're not talking about anything else happening with this checkbook. We have fees that we're going to be doing down the road. We have other things that are going to be happening. But right now, we're going to keep it simple, follow the KISS principle, which means keep it simple, stupid. And the only thing we're going to be doing is the deposit slip. So here we go. Deposit slip is recorded onto the checking account. Nothing else is taking place, right? So there's nothing else going on in here. So how much money now do we have to write in that's available to us? We take the previous balance, which was $1,641.96, add the new money to it, and we're going to come up with $2,609.04. So $2,609.04. Now we can start writing checks. You cannot write a check for any more than this amount right here. In fact, you'll rarely ever write a check and bring it down to zero, because that would be insanity. So let's now record the deposit. Check. Done. Let's read the question again. August 14th, Loretta Harper, owner of Peabody Card and Gifts, deposited these items in the checking account balance. La la la. She received a telephone bill on August 15th, right? Now, there are some things about this that are kind of crazy, but so the bill came in on the 15th. It was for how much money? The bill received it was for $214.80. All right. Record the information for paying the telephone bill on check stub number 41. Well, we're dealing with check stub 41 right here. That's the check we're going to write. Complete the check stub. Use August 16th as the date. Okay, let's hit it. So we have, how much money are we writing the check for? We're going to say $214.80. $214.80. What was the date of the transaction? Well, it tells us that we should write the date as the 16th. Who was it for? Well, let's come over and take a look. Peabody Advertising received the July telephone bill from Northeast Telephone. So I'm going to just abbreviate it. I'm assuming there's a drop down number for you. Northeast Tele. What was it for? Well, you're going to make a notation. It was for the July bill. So under the 4, you're going to put July bill. And you might want to put on their communications expense or whatever expense account that falls under. Probably utilities, but we'll deal with that later. Alright, now let's, how much was it for? We have the top of the check stub filled out. Now we need to do some math. Come down here and less this check amount. Okay, so less the check amount of $214.80. Right, so that $214.80 now is going to give us a balance. If we subtract the $214.80 from this total that we have right here, which was the sum of the previous balance brought forward and the deposit, we're going to come up with $2,394.24. That completes everything. Now we can write the check. Going over to the check, well, we know the date of the transaction. Everything is on the stub that you need to be looking at, so we can go 16 August 21. Paid to the order of. Paid to the order of. Now this is who? This is the Mary Lee. This is the payee, right? Okay, don't fall out of your chair. So let's go. We have paid to the order of, and that it is for Northeast Telephone. It was for $214.80. And this amount here has to be written out. The amount you see here. This is what's unique about checks. We write the dollar amounts out. So in this case, we're going to write $214, right? So 14. And now, and how much change? 80 cents. So you would do it like this. 80 cents is going to be written out like this. 8/100ths of a dollar. So 214 and 80/100ths of a dollar. All right. The memo, we can put July bill. The memo is the same thing as the 4, usually. Sometimes the memo, you'll put your account number in there. There's other things you'll use it for. And then, of course, you have to put your John Hancock on here. So we're going to sign it. Okay. That completes this check here. We have done that check. So the next one. Prepare check number 41, and we have done that. You are the drawer. By the way, you are the drawer. Right? The payee is the person who we're writing it to, person or business. The drawer is the person who's signing the check, who's authorizing the note. And the bank itself that the check is drawn from These are, let's spell that right, drawee. So the drawee is the bank. The drawer is the person who's writing the check. And the payee is the person the check is written to. Subtle differences, but very important nonetheless. All right, let's real quickly, we'll go to check number 42. It says, prepare check stub number 42 to pay the advertising bill. Use the 17th of August for your date and sign your name as drawer, right? So there's your signature. It's telling you right there. August 17th, how much was it for? Well, it's right up here, $275. $275. The date was the 17th of August. Who was it for? It was for advertising bill from Bayside News. What was it for? Well, it was ads. Right? Do we have any deposits that we have done since the last check? We're going to say no. Are there any other things involved? No. So you're going to just bring this brought forward amount. Now, it's not going to have this for you, but the brought forward amount is this right here. The balance carried forward. So this gets carried forward. It walks all the way over to the other side. I know it's kind of corny. And then it drops itself right here into the balance brought forward of $2,394.24. Check your math. If that doesn't match this, then you got something wrong. Can't help you there. So the total, again, nothing happened with that $23.94.24. So the amount of money that you can write for a check is going to be $23.94.24 before you go into the zero, or before you go into the negative. So $23.94.24. How much was the check for? $275. Even. And now a balance carried forward. That's the previous balance, the total, minus the check you just wrote, which is this pay stub, right? The check stub. And you're going to come up with $23.94.24 minus that. Well, that's going to be easy enough. That's a 24. And then we have 119 and 2. So $2,119.24. The check stub is done. Now we go over and do the actual check itself. So 17 August 21. Who is it being written to? The pay we have is Bayside News. How much was it for? $275. Time to write it out. You will write 200 70 -5 and how many pennies? 0 100s. Now this is how they'll show you to do it. You can put an X there, so we know that there's 0 100s we're talking about in pennies. What was it for? This was for ads, and then again you are the drawer, so you're going to sign your name. That concludes 11-1, preparing a deposit slip and writing checks. So this is just a real simple one, and we're going to get a lot more complicated as we move forward. Let's see how much time I took of you. 19 minutes and 44 seconds. Congratulations. I just took up 19 minutes of your life.